tightly matched in my opinion. I go inside Malibu, the 2-horse, not all the way to the rail. You like in square slice. But Malibu, I think, with the blinkers going on, back on last time out, I was impressed by that effort. Was cruised up outside to engage a rival. Kicked away very eagerly. Wasn't really set down until about the 3/16. Held firm. Right back at 5.5. May have to deal with the 5, Scrappy T. Lee. I like the improvement for this runner. You look at this trainer. It's not the biggest of samples, but 27% strike rate. Winners last out with an ROI going towards $5. Malibu with a shot. Did ride the wave of the racetrack. Right. Speed was good that day, but I still think at 5.5, this one can get the jump on some of these horses because I think you got a horse like Square Slice, Twice Gold, even Rapidity and Medicoach. Will they be as quick in that opening 3/16 of a mile? I think this horse has an edge to take advantage of that with the speed and hold on here.
That's a very, very good point. He did win over a speed favoring wet track, but the way he did it, he looked very good. And I just think his speed plays here. I think he is the speed of the speed. 5.5 seems like his distance. He's going to be a dangerous forward factor. Our friend Will Humphrey, who provides trip notes on the Laurel Park website, laurelpark.com/picks. Download the handicapping guide. Very impressed with this horse's last race and could be a dangerous forward factor looking for the repeat. Square Slice is where I'm going. Square Slice is returning off of a lengthy layoff, 336 days to be exact. But we do have a trainer stat for the number 1, Square Slice. Bob Glasaris with sprinters coming off a layoff between 6 months to a year, 6 for the last 26, $4.55 ROI. And this horse is just taking a double drop in class into the strict non-winners at 2 Life after facing horses like Catahoula Moon, who came back from that last race to win with an 88 buyer. I don't like the layoff. I don't like the inside post. And I don't like the fact that Square Slice doesn't have a lot of early speed. So for me, this is a spread with some others like the 4 and the 6. But that layoff stat is interesting for me.
Yeah, it is. It is. I got a negative second off the claim, but that last number is strong. Catahoula Moon, Force of Justice, those horses were good at that time, and even Medicoach, who's kind of gone with similar. They both work for me in here. You're right. The biggest question is he doesn't have a lot of giddy up and go that first quarter of a mile. Where's that going to put him in this group? Does he see them all, or maybe Twice Gold, who doesn't have a slew of early speed? They're the ones who are going to be outside looking in once they leave the 3/8 of the quarter pole. They're going to have to ramp it up, but certainly the right company lines, and I like that stat there for Glasaris.
Might be the best closer in the race. The question is, will there be enough speed to set him up? Let's talk about Rapidity because he has speed, and it just looks like he might be able to work out a clean trip sitting second or third with a big shot turning into the stretch. We've got a video spotlight for Rapidity.
Yeah, and this horse, the last two very good efforts. The blinkers came off 2 starts back December the 8th. This is off a little freshening. We're coming right back here and had to deal with a little bit of traffic. Caught between horses a long way. But, man, this guy just kind of kept grinding and grinding and grinding. Gave up a little ground as Wild Hunch spurted away upper stretch. But Torrealba stays with him, and this guy stays with Torrealba as well and kicks it back in through the final 3/16 of a mile to earn the place. I thought this was a great price. I had used this one this particular afternoon. We might have had this exacta, but I think Rapidity is really on an upward trend. I guess the biggest concern, but as you might have related, this horse coming back quick might be a good sign for Kieran. Scratch the other one, meaning this was the one that they like. They're going to roll with this one. Look at this stat.
Second off a 2 to 4 month layoff, 10 for the last 31, 32%, a $2.16 return on investment. Again, Rapidity figures to get a pretty good trip. Let's talk a little bit about Medicoach. We haven't seen this horse since Pimlico. That's a long layoff back from May. But again, this horse was facing some better horses. I didn't think he had the cleanest trip in that race at Pimlico. Broke slow from the rail, over and behind horses in the stretch. Maybe a little bit better than it looks. He's another horse, though, that has got to adapt to the pace. He did show some speed 3 back when the pace wasn't very fast, but against winners thus far, he's been outrun.
I think 22-3, you look 3 back in March, last March against Blue Kingdom, who had some zip for Feliciano at the time. Sugar Steve, a length off of Point Doom after a quarter of a mile. There's no Point Dooms in here, right? So I do think Medicoach freshened for a barn that's winning some races lately. Robbie does a great job each and every year. Medicoach, pops the latch, is certainly get a stalking pounce kind of trip here in race 2.
You've got the speed with the 2. I got the closer with the 1. 2-4-6-5 for Keith, 1-4-6-2 for me. Kind of feels like a spread race.
Yes,
Race number
agreed.
2 in the early value pick 5. Race number 3 is up next. This is at a mile and a 16th. It's a number is a 3-life claimer. 12-5 down to 10 for fillies and mares. We're going to scratch out the number 1. Tina. The 6 Looking for Water is the 2-1 morning line favorite, but I think the 2 Princess Lucia is going to vie for favoritism. This filly just has the look of a horse that was going to appreciate extra distance. She got it last time out, and she also got a very clever ride from Zambrana, who realized there was no speed in the race, broke hard from the outside post, cleared to the front, and sprinted on home. I think there's a chance from this good inside post this time, a similar trip is coming.
Absolutely. They were like hell-bent. We're going to go ahead and get the lead from that outer post. You look at the makeup of this. She's a big filly. I think you liked her there at 8-1 that day. Good pickup by you. But Zambrana back again. Yeah, gets even an assist with Tina out, as I thought that one might bring a little speed to the table off the layoff. She scratched today. Yeah, Princess Lucia, and she was game. She held firm to the wire, no let up whatsoever. Who's going to go with her? Maybe Maximo Madness, I think, can go ahead and prompt going out from that 7/8 to 2 turns. Catches a fast track today. This one just seems a little bit, like she's moving right back in the right direction to me. And I got a little stat for Sanchez Salomon, 6 for 36, 17%, 270 RI, sprint to route and condition claimers. We got a stat. We can bring that one back up as well because we're going to talk about Looking for Water. Thanks, guys. Bruno Tessori, Looking for Water, a horse that you always think needs some kind of help. 2 for 24 lifetime, but back in the right condition and was against the grain of the racetrack last time out. Good stat, though. 24% strike rate with a 222. There's the twos again, Dan. ROI.
That's coming back off 2 weeks or
Yeah.
less, so Looking for Water, a horse that probably does need a little bit of pace. I needed to mention the plethora of seconds and thirds. Looking for Water will be running on late. I agree with you about Maximo Madness. I think this horse is a little bit dirtied up. Last time out, again, speed favoring wet track. Just sort of tried to get into it with a 4-wide bid. It didn't work out. Stretching out should show more speed and might be the one to put the pressure on Princess Lucia. 2, 5, 6, and 3 for Keith. 2, 6, 3, and 5 for me in race number 3. Let's move on to race number 4. A mile and a 16th. This is a maiden special weight for 3-year-old fillies. Let's take out the number 1. Brand New Dance. Lots of things going on in race number 4. It's the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 jackpot wager. Pick the first place finisher in each of 6 races. If you're the only one, you take down the entire pool. It's also the first leg of our 50-cent Pick 4. This is an interesting sequence. I thought the key to it might be the number 2, Birdie Juice, a first-time starter for Brittany Russell. Before we get to that one, let's talk about some of the experienced runners. The 7, Passage East, is a horse that has shown some ability, and we do have a video spotlight on Passage East.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. We're going to go to the video here. Yeah, let's go back to this race. It's called 4 and 5 wide. February the 1st, and really is under a hustling ride. And that opening quarter was pretty sharp, 22 and 3. Complexity Jane is going to end up getting the job done. That's the BTR first-time starter. But Passage East ramps it up and just kind of keeps on grinding from the 3/16 pole home. I thought all in all a good effort. The winner just too good down to the inside sliding through. But Passage East, by Audible, out of a congrats, Mer. You're looking stretching out here. I think it's going to work. We've got a stat for Hugh McMahon with these horses going first route.
First time route on the dirt, 5 for the last 25. Big ROI. $5.04 for Passage East. And you got to figure this horse is going to be close to the pace, stretching out in distance. Don't think would have beaten Complexity Jane if the sort of trips were reversed. Complexity Jane, if you remember, broke very slowly and had to weave her way through traffic. But Passage East did lose ground and was chugging on. And I think the distance is going to be okay for Passage East. Let's talk a little bit about the 5, Late Night Call. This is a horse that really seemed to improve, stretching out with some distance.
Oh, she ran against the boys last time at Parks, and I think that was a 2-5 shot that ended up getting it done. But she was pretty keen to the lead. There's 24-49. Look, pedestrian, but that's a heavier surface up there at Parks. Was able to kind of handle pressure. It was a little cat and mouse game through the backstretch run. Shook clear around the turn. I thought she was just a touch erratic turning for home, but once she regained she was dead game to the wire. It looked like the horse that was running outside was clearly going to get her for second. She said, no, I'm not going to have any of that. She digs in. Is she the speed in here? I'm not sure. I think Ready for Magic just to her outside might go ahead and go. I think she has the ability, even looking at that two-back race, to go ahead and sit. I like the improvement. Second time lay 6 for Niall Seville. This one stays in. His other one scratches. Late night call. Really will be close up, I think, throughout and can stay a trip.
I thought she ran well in her debut when she had to come from off of the pace. I thought it was a sneaky good effort. The gallop out from that race I thought was really good. And then not a good break second time out and still ran on a little bit at the end. It just seems like this horse has finally found the right level for her. 1 mile and a 16th against fillies, and I think it's at a good spot, third off of the speeds. I do think the 6 and the 7 are going to go.
This horse is half to Mr. Jefferson. That's another note that I didn't add in there. But Mr. Jefferson, we know, can handle a route of ground. Yeah, back with the girls today. I've got the Sire Exacta Audible. Let's see if we can get it done here in race 4. Let's talk about, Birdie Juice, right? We're going to touch upon Birdie Juice.
Well, Birdie Juice is a first-time starter trained by Brittany Russell, which means we've got a trainer stat. Brittany's been on fire recently. First-time starters, dirt routes, 10 for the last 30. $2.47 ROI. Wow. Birdie Juice was a horse who sold for $42,000 as a weanling, then sold up for $80,000 as a yearling. The Dam won routing on the dirt. This is a family of some classy Australian horses, maybe mostly on turf, but Redoubt's Choice is one of their better stallions and racehorses, a Group 1 winner. So I think distance isn't going to be a problem for this daughter of Liam's Mab. She draws the advantageous inside post. For folks watching that are new to Laurel Park, remember, very short run to the first turn, going 1 mile and a 16. So if Birdie Juice can break well under Sheldon Russell, she's going to get forward almost automatically and save some valuable ground.
Yep, I'll be surprised if she's so sharp that she's right up on the lead. I mean, you're looking at the works. They're okay. They're steady. She's had a long line, so the stamina buildup certainly is there. The family is there. The Sibs, the 2 winning Sibs, they didn't run super fast, but you respect this barn. We saw the stat, Birdie Juice. Maybe if they get it done, they'll have a little transfusion, after the race. Is a little golf drink, popular golf drink that the golfers like. Yeah.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, late value pick 5, low 12% takeout. Our Mackenzie Pfeiffer will have a ticket for you. Welcome back to a Friday edition of Today at the Races here at the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park. First post 12:10, 4 down, 5 to go, which means it's time for the late pick 5. But we'll take a look at the field for race number 5, competitive group. 5.5 furlongs in here. This is a starter optional claiming race. $29,000 is the purse. It is the first leg of our 50-cent value pick 5, 12% takeout, and our Mackenzie Pfeiffer does have a ticket for us.
There we go. She's got one here. Let's get it done. $27 ticket all in all. Going to kickstart you with Irish Warlock and B West. We've got a stat on Irish Warlock. Little B West video for you here in race 5. Turn to race 6, 3 deep. The 2 S-Row, the 4 Rapido Rosa, and the 7 Ade moving up in class, but the figures certainly work. She's the only 2-time winner, I believe, in this field. Race 7 with the 1, 2, 3, more. All systems go for the inside with Claudio and JG Torrealba. A single, she's found one. The 2, Secret Zipper. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be singling Secret Zipper, just on a roll right now for Gary Capuano, showing the ability to do it from on the pace or just off of it. Really nice horse, this Secret Zipper, but still going to have to work for it. There's no slouches in race number 8. Race 9, we're going to wrap things up here. 3 runners, the 2 the 3, the 6, Rascallion will take plenty of play. Called on that extended duel last time. Storm Creek going to try to work out a little bit more of a ground-saving trip in race 9. $27 for that late value pick 5, 12% takeout, 50-cent minimum wager.
And let's take a look at one of Mac's 2 horses in the opening leg of the 50-cent value late pick 5. That's the 2, B West. We do have a video spotlight for B West.
Yeah, this was intriguing. I don't know what to make of this. You've got Torrealba sending early. The horse kind of gets in the Poe, and then once the leaders just kind of go on, he takes back, and then the horse, I don't know, he's just like, you know what, I'm going to just keep on drafting back and back and back and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses just end up going on by and ends up last to the half-mile pole.
Last to the half-mile pole over a track that I thought you wanted to be up close to the pace. Now, B West had a legitimate excuse out of the gate 2 starts back. Was pinched back very badly, made a wide run into the stretch, and got second behind a gate-to-wire winner. Does it concern you now that it's been 2 starts, a little bit sluggish out of there? Yes, pinched 2 back, maybe an excuse, but a little bit sluggish last time out. This horse has run well on wet tracks in the past. It's not like I can simply just say he didn't like the wet track. I do think, though, that if B West shows up with his honest effort, you're going to hear from him in the stretch.
Maybe he's just gotten in a little bit of a habit, because even you go 3 back, drafted back, shifted 6 wide, pinch. Maybe he's kind of become accustomed to making a little bit run further, because we go back on his page, he's shown a little bit more tactical speed, but I think is definitely a player here for Kieran McGee and his Mario Villalobos. Shape note. I'll talk about this one first before we go ahead and touch upon the 1 Irish World. I thought Shape Note ran really good last time. February the 1st, Borracho got to the front on a speed-favoring surface, but Shape Note showed speed, had to ease back off of a rival who kind of dropped over on it, going to the half-mile pole into that far turn. Picked it back up, made a sneaky middle move that you don't really even see in the running line, and then kept on very willingly when running third. Still well beaten, but I like the kind of jump up. This guy, the light bulb's kind of gone on for him. I think with a good break, clean out here, he's definitely got a little bit more speed than Magic Spin, it appears to me, to go ahead and prompt from that outer spot and make them move into it around the turn.
I think he'll be the one pushing. He's orientating the early part of that race because that horse has speed.
Yeah.
Shape Note is a horse I just didn't think loved being down inside in the early portion of that race last time out. Draws a much better post position. You mentioned Borracho. He's won 17 times in his career. This horse is a very good fit for Anthony Farrier and Marshall Mendez. I'm going to go with Irish Warlock in here, the number 1. We do have a trainer set. This is the other Anthony Farrier train runner. First after the claim on dirt. 19 for the last 57, 33%, a $2.67 ROI.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for Farrier.
My whole key here, Dan, I got written it down from the rail. Toledo has got to be tied on from the inside. Has to avoid coming out a step slow, because if he is a step slow, you're going to see a trip, I think, like B West, what we showed on that video, a shuffle back to last. If he breaks cleanly, is within a couple lengths heading into the turn, a little covered up trip under some rating, he's going to be awfully dangerous. Yeah, he's flashed some severe ability in the past. Irish Warlock, though, the break is clearly the key. Yeah, he's oriented. He's going to be standing out of there.
Yeah, Irish Warlock didn't really have the best break last time out. He was kind of bumped and then sideswiped astride out of the gate, was ridden along to get into contention, had to alter course widest in the stretch, and past some tired horses. Was in against a good field against the backclasser Monday morning QB, but you're right. It's all about the break. And this is a horse that does have a lot of seconds and thirds. Quickly, let's talk about the judge and jury, who ran into Dream Night last time, actually finished ahead of that horse. That horse then came back, ran third with a 74 Beyer speed figure and a quarter, beaten at Parks. It's J-Rod. It's Jay Ness.
Yeah, it's got to bounce back up. You're hoping. The nice thing is, I guess the encouraging thing is, they don't really drop. He's got 2 wins out of 5 starts over this racetrack. I'm taking a slight wait and see. Yeah, he's got some numbers on the page. You go back, you see a 90 Beyer, you see an 80 Beyer. They all kind of work running against the right kind of horses, like On the Mark. He scares me. He'll probably beat me. I'm going to toss him underneath in this particular race.
We'll move on to race number 6. It's a claiming race for 3-year-old fillies, 40 down to 32. We have a very competitive field of 8 in here. It is the first leg of our third and final pick 4 wager of Friday afternoon's card. 50-cent minimum wager, and this race, I think, is just so wide open. I'm really trying to figure out who's going to be on the lead in here. Will it be the 5 Can Do for Kieran McGee, who's shown big speed? I think if this horse is aggressively ridden, Can Do makes the top. But let's talk a little bit about a horse that did show speed last time out. That's my top pick, the 3. It's a monster mash. We have a trainer stat for Jerry Robb with the 3. It's a monster mash. Last out maiden winners returning on dirt. 8 for the last 41. Good number. 20%. Big ROI. 373 ROI. It's a monster mash. Looked very good winning that race last time out. Was entered back on January the 26th. Listed as a vet scratch sick. But I just have a feeling this horse has some ability, and with the Lasix on, shouldn't be too far away.
No, I think she can go get good early position. Is she as fast as Can Do? She's going to have to be tied on off of the break to go ahead and get the lead, to steal the lead from her. And you're looking at Toriaba matched up with Rob. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've got the early slate. 41%, is that
41%
yeah, that's
combo,
big.
38% here at Laurel Park.
Yeah.
You're used to seeing the X-Man aboard
Right,
for Jerry Robb.
right.
Not aboard here.
Yeah.
Again, Jerry's got 2 in this race. Green-Eyed Monster, the number 6. We'll talk about that one in a bit. But I do want to move on to the number...
Go 5, Can Do,
yeah,
maybe?
let's talk about Can Do. We got a video spotlight for Can Do, and Can Do is a horse that's got big early speed.
This also involves the 6. Today, Green-Eyed Monster comes out of the same race, right, on February the 2nd. I thought Can Do, and this is something Kieran getting a little bit more involved with, developing horses, getting the first-time starters. And, boy, I like this effort. Second-time blinkers, first-time Lasix. Really takes a ton of heat, pressured every step of the way, leaving the far turn to the quarter pole. On a day that we've got marked down on our handicapping guide, it's a slight closer's bias on February the 2nd. Dan, how do you think visually? I think she holds okay here the last 8th.
I thought she held okay. Consider that the winner, Field of Roses, is unbeaten from 2 starts, and Farrier thinks enough of her to try her in the stake tomorrow. So she might be okay. I think the key for Can Do is this. I really like her at 5.5.
Yeah.
And I think, that's going to be an issue because she's got to go 6 here, and there's going to be other speed. I do think she held on very well. I would have liked to have seen her finish it off a little bit better the last 16th of a mile.
Okay.
Let's talk about Green-Eyed Monster, the number 6. This horse was second last time out behind Field of Roses. We saw in the video she was running on at the end of that race. It was her first start since September. She can take a step forward.
Yeah, and you're looking at the stat. This is a really good angle year in and year out. Second off of this kind of layup, 24% strike rate. 223 ROI for Jerry Robb. Had that set up. It was a 3-pronged battle, 3-ply battle, whatever you want to call it, around that turn. But the willingness late set up beautifully for second time back off the break.
What do you do with the New York Invader, the number 1, Gaga's Handsome? First time Claudio Gonzalez, first time Lasix. This horse was second last time out over a wet track in New York. Just seems very well entered at this level.
She does. You glance at her buyer figures. I think they need to step up just a touch. She's going to get the speed. Again, she's going to give herself too much to do out there because she doesn't have that sharp earlies. That maybe she'll be a little bit, better here. She'll a little bit more here under Claudio. I just think she's an underneath type for me. I can't get her in the top 3. So when you're looking at exact as this race, I'm going to key around probably the 3 and the 5. I think the 3's shown that real ability last time out, a kind of a breakthrough performance. Didn't run terrible in the Lassie. You're getting an okay price at a 6-1 morning line, right? First time Lasix, you gotta expect maybe might move her up just a little bit, and Can Do. I'll work around the 3 and the 5 top and bottom. Gaga will be used underneath. I think Odd Day's interesting. The 2-time winner in this group got a nice little setup, churned on, a little bump up off the claim. She works for me.
Yeah, good tactical speed. Seems like she's found a home here at Laurel. You mentioned the only 2-time winner. First Pearl was wired over a speed-favoring track going a mile, cuts back to a good distance for her. If the pace is hot and it should be solid, she can come with a kick.
Yeah.
It is a wide-open 6th race today at Laurel Park. We'll move on to race number 7. We're going 3/4 of a mile, 40 down to 32. Non-winners of 3 life claimers. These are fillies and mares take out the 7, Kilo Road. More is the 9-5 morning line favorite. I want to start off, however, with the 5, Feeling So Lucky. Feeling So Lucky, we have a video spotlight.
Yeah, we've got her both in the mix. I've got her second. You've got her third. This race, this effort was a little interesting to me. I see her more like, a stalker, a little bit 3-4 out of it mid-turn, kind of a runner, but she was kind of ready to roll this particular day. Maybe almost too sharp, Dan?
I agree. She's battling it out with Lottie Dino, who is the favorite in this race at 6-5. Lottie Dino ends up getting tired as well, finishing third. And I agree with you. I just think Feeling So Lucky is way more effective as a stalker. And I think in this race, with a horse like More breaking from the rail, Feeling So Lucky breaking outside that horse might be able to settle a little bit better into a good tracking position. Lots of runner-up efforts on Feeling So Lucky's page, but this one was been claimed by Hugh McMahon. That barn's been going very well.
Yeah, they bump her up a little bit here. I like this one right back. She's got some good races over this Laurel surface. You're talking about the one more. Again, with a scratch of Kilo Road, I only think she might have to deal with one other horse. That's going to be my top selection, Dissolute. But talk to me about more.
Looked very good last time out. This horse has earned big figures in 2 of the last 3 wins. Now, in both of those wins, she was able to get to the lead, and I'm gambling that she's going to be able to get to the lead with an alert break again. She had a very good trip last time out. Not only was that track speed friendly, look at the second quarter fraction. She went almost 25 seconds. Talk about getting a breather. She's supposed to sprint home at odds on and win that race. So maybe take that Beyer speed figure with a little bit of a grain of salt. But I did like the maiden win 3 starts back when getting loose. And I think more is going to be forward again. Let's talk about your top selection. The number 3, Dissolute, Jamie Rodriguez, Cal Lynch.
I liked her race 2 races back at Penn. Caught a sloppy sealed surface. Was that the reason she jumps up? It was last time out. It was an interesting firm rate 4 wide is my comment. She was kind of throttled down against that group, caught outside. Once the real running started, 3/8 on, she just kind of fizzled. But she drops back in. That was a 2 other then. Comes back into her to a 3 in life. And this little stat, I should have had this and thrown this on the show. Maybe we can toss it up a little bit later. Last 3 years on the dirt, Cal Lynch, 8 for 24, 33% allowance to claiming with a 273 ROI. I like this move. I think if anybody's going to keep more honest, it's going to be Dissolute.
It's a good point, and you can argue with the class drop. Dissolute, maybe too strong for more, turning into the stretch. If they hook up, Graceful Rose, the 2, might be the best closer in this race. 4th last time out in New York, faced a good field. The runner-up came back to win a starter allowance there with an 87 Beyer speed figure. And I thought Graceful Rose's prior effort going a mile here at Laurel was pretty good. Keep an eye on her if the pace is hot. We'll move on to the late double, and we'll start the late double with our feature race of the afternoon. It's race number 8, going a mile and a 16th. This is a second level allowance with a $40,000 claiming option, $53,000 purse. Scratch half of the Jamie Ness trained entry, the 1A Just Call Ray. This race just simply goes through. The number 2 Secret Zipper. This horse has won his last 3 starts and was just so impressive winning last time.
Yeah, let's go to the video spotlight. We're going to have to taste a little bit more chalk because I think Just Call Ray would have definitely enhanced that entry. So Secret Zipper, I like your line there. It even might come down just a touch, but boy, he relaxed beautifully last time out. Just you looked at his races and you're like, okay, well, he might be just going to go right to the front. But we had discussed on the show this particular afternoon that if he needs to set up shop outside of a rival, he could, he did, and he just absolutely dominated.
Now, he's a big horse with cruising speed, and he just easily takes over the lead. And I talked to Gary Kapp after this race, and he just feels that this horse always had speed, has been maturing with each and every race, and the way he finishes this race off, it makes you think that maybe, just maybe, if he gets through today's race in fine form, he could be a stakes runner down the road. He's lightly raced enough that it's possible, and it's kind of scary. We've yet to see his very best. He's striding under the wire, and he looks good doing it. He's way the horse to beat, and if I was playing multiple tickets in my pick 5, he'd be on 90% of my wagers. Crossland, the number 3, is where maybe I would go with at a price if Secret Zipper doesn't run his race. He scored last time out. I thought he got a very nice patient ride. They just let the speeds go. It was the wise move, and this horse finished well for a barn that's been sending out nothing but live horses recently.
Horses are running for sure, and was really resolute to the wire because little Lance was bearing down, and Crossland was just not going to be denied. Got it done, held on to the wire by about 3/4 of a length. But you're right. I think, things don't get too crazy up front. This could be a lineup race. I think Carl Sainz stepping up against a little bit better company, no doubt about it. But I think the flow is going to work to his advantage. Don't try to win the race too soon. I think that's the biggest thing.
Now scratch the 1A, leaves in the old Classmaster, the one Magic Michael, Grade 3 Greenwood Cup winner back in 2021. Maybe getting a little bit long in the tooth, but he sure fits with these horses on his best day.
Absolutely. And if things slow down a little bit, you're like, okay, you look at the two-back try. He earned an 86 against a lot better. I'm not going to say a lot, but there's some nice horses in here. Secret Zipper certainly going the right way, but feeling woozy, he was able to kind of get it done up front. He's just a grinder, though. That's what you're going to get out of him, and he's going to have to ramp it up seriously from the 3/8 pole, because if things, that half mile goes up in 48 and 3, and Torrealba's there just in hand, it could be lights out.
Let's wrap up the card with race number 9. We're going a one-turn mile. This is a maiden claimer, 12.5 down to 10. The Maryland bred's eligible for the $15,000 tag. Rider switch on the 4, Tia Mayen. Make it Andres Chavez. Rascallion, the number 6, is the horse to beat for Lacey Gaudette. We have a video spotlight for Rascallion, a horse that just never got a breather in this race.
No, this battle started early, and it just continued on. And all things being said, La Chica for Tequila got the absolute setup. Rascallion game enough, though, to hold the place in this effort. They started, pretty much right around the first turn, and it continued. So Rascallion, is there anybody that's going to be able to run with her early?
Yeah.
Maybe Aunt Margaret, I think, and maybe a horse like Third Tuesday going second off the claim. So I don't think it's going to be any easy ask at a short number.
I think Third Tuesday is going to go to the lead, stretching out and breaking from post position 2. Weston Hamilton had his choice. The 2 and the 6 goes with the likely favorite, but Rascallion did all that work, and then the favorite just ran by in the stretch. We'll see how far Third Tuesday wants to go. Not the biggest filly in the world, but she's by Great Notion, and she seemed to improve a little bit. If there is a meltdown, however, maybe it's Storm Creed's day. Maybe the 20th time is the charm.
Got to be room for Derek Parham. I saw him down there with the pizza lady the other day. Real nice guy. And I tell you, this horse just overland trip last time, 4 to 6 wide against it. Yes, had that little bit of a setup, but more of a ground-saving trip. I do think this one's going to be making a charge once they get past the 3. Maybe not a charge, but a grind past the 3/16.
And Kundi is our third pick in the race, a horse that, sometimes gets a little bit fractious behind the gate. And there's just no speed whatsoever. This is her 22nd time, but maybe she clunks up and gets a piece at a decent price under Jose Betancourt.
Stat? Do we have a stat on Kundi?
We do have a stat on Kundi. Jose Corral's been doing well recently. February 7th, February 16th, 20% winners, 239 ROI for the number 5, Kundi. That wraps up our top 9, but not the show, because it's still time for your best play.
Best play. All right, Kieran, let's get it done. Can do, maybe. We're going to go to race number 6, number 5, 6-1 morning line. I like the price. It's a highly competitive race. Third time Lasix, third time blinkers, I think. I think this horse is developing nicely. You talked about maybe 5.5 is the number for Can Do. I'm hoping it's 6. Outran some faster horses last time. Took the heat on a track that was not really favoring speed. Can Do, get into it early. Let's keep going at a good number at 6-1.
Like you, I want a down-the-road speed show. Race number 3. Number 2, Princess Lucia. Those tactics work really well for her, stretching out to the mile and a 16th. Why not one more time? Now breaking from the rail with the scratch of the 1. Tina. That's it for today at the races. 9 race card, 12-10 first post, 12% low takeout in our early and late value pick 5 wagers. Callie Francois, Mackenzie Pfeiffer, Dave Rodman, they'll take you through the afternoon. And speaking of the great Dave Rodman, let's go up to him for some scratches and changes.
All right, good luck, everybody.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Laurel Park. Track condition is fast today, and temperature in the mid-30s. Winds out of the west kicking up to 20 miles per hour. Here's a look at your Laurel Park changes for our 9-race card. All clear in the first race. No changes of the first. Second race, number 1, Square Slice, blinkers on. Blinkers on the 1. Scratch number 7, the Dingo Ate Your Baby. Scratch the 7. Third race, scratch 1, Tina, Tina, Tina. Third race, scratch the 1. Fourth race, scratch number 1, Brand New Dance. 1, Brand New Dance. Scratch race 4. Fifth race, number 4, He's Orientate 2 over. Sixth race, no changes. In the 7th race, scratch 7, Kilo Road. 7th race, scratch number 7, Kilo Road. 8th race, scratch 1A, part of the entry, Just Call Ray. 1A, Just Call Ray, out of race 8. 9th race, number 4, Tiamayan, and jockey Andres Chavez. Andres Chavez on the 4, Tiamayan. 9th race. 5 races from San Isidro, Argentina, following our 9-race card, races 10 through 14. Jackpot Super High 5 carryover, 5,652. Jackpot Super High 5 race 6. Chesapeake Pick 6 carryover, $1,797. Pick 6 starts in race 4. 2 value Pick 5s here at Laurel Park, early and late. Early value Pick 5 with a mandatory payout carryover potential in that late value Pick 5. Pick 5s, 12% takeout for the value Pick 5 plays. 15 minutes to post time. Good luck this afternoon at Laurel Park.
Well, we had a wonderful weekend of racing last weekend with the Barbara Fritchie, General George. We move into more potential Federico Tessio preps here for tomorrow. But for today, we have a nice, fun, tantalizing card here for Friday racing. Let's go ahead and discuss what starts it all off, which is this takeout, low industry takeout, early value pick 5. You get to keep 89% of your money here. Let's go ahead and open things up with Keith Fusel 3 wide with the 1, 2, and 7. The number 1, Fast Talkin' Man, being his top selection. Race number 2, 2 deep with the 2 and the 4 with, as I scroll and check, the number 2, Malibu, being his top selection there in race number 2. Race number 3, the 2 as well, his value play of the day, as well as Dan Illman's, and Princess Lucia in race number 3. Race number 4, he goes 3 deep there with the number 5, Late Night Call, being his top selection there, and 2 deep in the last leg, 2 and the 7. $36 ticket, and it does begin here in this maiden claiming 20,000, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt here. Of course, we've got a favorite in 7 run for Tyler Connor. I've been waiting for this horse to come back onto the racetrack. Scratched back on the 7th of February. Runs today for Phil Capuano. Tyler Connor gets the call here. Your current 9-5 favorite right now. And of course, Dan has got a little info for us specifically on Phil Capuano with, I believe, the second time Lasix. But let's go ahead and, second time Lasix, pulling ahead that stat. 258 in ROI, 3 for the last 12. 25%. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that run last time out on the 26th of January.
Yes, and I thought this horse had a really, really nice trip under Wes Hamilton on the day. Just took a nice tracking trip along, inches along here, but comes on in the turn. And I thought, there was a lot of horse. So for me, impressed through the stretch, really, really nice, taking on the challenge. Just kind of ends up missing here, but considering where he started his run, I give him quite a bit of credit because this was not an easy fought battle.
Makes an early little challenge of it, stays on that left lead for quite some time, but that is quote considered a late change. I'm actually not too concerned about the timing of that. We'll see the horse on the inside, Sir Chance-A-Lot for Hugh McMahon, edge out on the inside. Unfortunately, Sir Chance-A-Lot ended up bouncing pretty aggressively next time out in the same 12-5 level. So we're just looking for some consistency here, and that's exactly what we got out of this guy. Just a positive experience overall last time out is really what did it here. You've got to trust Phil. You've got to trust Tyler here. 8-5 makes sense. As we go ahead to the number 1 in Fast Talkin' Man, Elliott Sullivan, Julio Hernandez here on the rail at 4-1.
Right. It's actually 2 back when we saw this one here at Laurel, and I thought that this one maybe got shuffled back a little bit from the gate, still came on pretty well, but was squeezed in between horses and maybe a little bit green through the stretch. So I thought that this one had just a bit more work to do than he was necessarily given credit for. And I take that into consideration. We saw a big jump up when he took on different company last time out. Getting him back here, he's one who figures for me coming into this level. I think he holds his own and should stack up very, very well.
I think, more things were expected. Of course, this one is a have to take a hint, who did well early in her career as well. She won the Not for Love last March. But this one, I'm just seeing the unluckiness out of the gates, and I'm just kind of sitting and waiting to see whether this one kind of gets it all together coming out of the gate. So being on the inside, that's going to be really, really prominent here in this race. Looking out right in the paddock here for Elliott Sullivan here today at this is a very apt 4-1. Just need to see a little bit cleaner structure out of the gate. I have a feeling we will today. Let's go ahead to the number 3 in Touched for Annette Eubanks. Carlos Lopez gets the call here. This is currently 5-1 right now, cutting back in distance.
Right, and we saw the cutback last time going from the mile to that 7/8 effort. I thought that this is one who took a little bit of contact at the start and then came under a little bit of a strong ride to go ahead and get into some decent positioning, just really chased all the way, and I thought faded a little bit coming on later in the race. So for me, give a bit of credit there. I think if we can get away a little cleaner and maybe have a smoother trip, this is one who lasts a bit longer today.
It's understandable why they went going long with this one, just due to on the bottom breeding alone. But I think, trying to get this one coming back maybe to a little bit of basics and just kind of establishing something without running this horse off too much. I mean, listen, that first race was very, very promising. Win in the barn of Jamie Ness. We're down here for the 20. This one's in the tag for the 12.5. So for me, that kind of helps that solidifies a little bit of faith in the connections for this one here. I do like the fact that Eubanks the barn is pretty good in cutting them back in distance. And while, we see some maintenance works, I just have a feeling with the way they'll attack this, because I think no matter what, even going shorter, this guy only has so much to give as far as a turn of foot goes. So he's not going to be, of course, he's not going to be breaking on top, right? So he's going to be getting that mid-pack kind of finishing up trip. And I think they're just looking for a positive experience going a shorter distance here today. So I think that's the goal. And if you get a respectable placement among these types, like we talked about in our first two selections, that's going to be happy enough for the connections here. And they should be. This horse has a little bit of something going on here. We just need to put him in the right situation to see it. And we're seeing if the going short helps out here today. Let's go ahead to the number 5 to the outside. And where's my chew for Anthony Pecoraro? Jose Vega here at 9-2.
Right. Ultimately, I was intrigued by this one because he has a full sibling who hit the board sprinting on the dirt in his first 4 starts. He ultimately notched that maiden win when taking a little bit of a class drop down to a lower level. But this is one who I think might very well come in here today and have a really nice productive start. I thought we might have a little more value, but interesting to see this one taking a bit of money at 9-2.
Yeah, Golden Lad, 11%. We can trust Pecoraro with a first-time starter. This guy could be anywhere. He'll be able to handle it here at 9-2. Low 12% takeout here for this first leg of the early value pick 5.
Five minutes to the first race. Exacta, trifecta, superfecta, double pick 3. 12% takeout value pick 5. Mandatory payout of the early value pick 5 starting here the opener. No changes in the first. Track fast. Goons awarded the opener to Rodrigo Barajas. Best turned out horse is Ziolino. Four minutes, pick 5. Value pick 5, 12%.